Howdy folks, I hope you're all having a good one. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do if you're not, except perhaps offer a World of Tanks video to entertain you and take your mind off it. And oh look, a World of Tanks video. This is an all tier 6 battle, so nobody should be complaining about the matchmaking. Here on the Mountain Pass map, starring Cabadoy 169 in the British tier 6 medium tank, the Cromwell. Full disclosure, I absolutely love the Cromwell. Not in the same way that I love the TOG 2. I mean, the TOG 2 is not that good a tank, but it's got personality and character, and that'll do. The Cromwell is not a bad tank. It's not a great tank though, but it is a huge amount of fun to play. And that mostly... ooh, lag spike. Looks like Cabadoy has a dodgy internet connection. We'll see how he deals with that. But yes, why do I love the Cromwell? Mostly two things: speed and manoeuvrability. There isn't another tier 6 medium tank in the game that can catch the Cromwell when it comes to speed and manoeuvrability. It also has a good camo rating, decent view range. It's basically a light tank, except with medium tank hit points. Unfortunately, it also kind of has light tank armour, and what armour it does have, as well as being thin, is also as flat as a pancake. Hang on a second, where have the enemy team gone? They don't appear to have come down this side of the map. We'll worry about that in a moment. Other bad things about the Cromwell, because there are bad things about the Cromwell and not just the armour. The gun handling is absolutely abysmal. I mean, it's shockingly bad. Even though the gun does have decent penetration and reasonable alpha damage for a tier 6. Wow, why is everybody dying? Guys, stop that. The shell velocity is also on the mediocre side, making it... wow, guys, I said stop dying. Holy crap. 4-0. The battle is not even 2 minutes old. I'm going to have to speed this up. So yeah, shell velocity, not particularly good. Accuracy, reasonable, not terrible. The bad shell velocity makes it tricky to hit targets at range if they're moving at anything approaching a decent speed. And the fact that it cannot fit a vertical stabiliser, unlike the even better tier 7 Comet, which can, really hurts this tank in run and gun duels at anything other than point blank range. Seriously, I love the Cromwell to bits, but it absolutely cannot hit the broadside of a barn from the inside if it's firing on the move at ranges of less than 50 metres. The solution, of course, is to use that speed and manoeuvrability to get up close and personal. Preferably, give them something other than you to shoot at, like Tiger 131 there, while you work them over with the blistering rate of fire on this 75mm gun. Speaking of Tiger 131, he took a bit of a... oh, yeah. Yeah, there's more than just the artillery at the far end of that valley. The Tiger's been taken out. You can hear shots whizzing by. Yep, Cabadoy isn't interested in pushing his luck any further down this end of the map. Not without backup. Definitely not by himself. Unfortunately, he's now lost 7 teammates. The match isn't even 3 minutes old. He can't push this flank. On the bright side, it doesn't look like the enemy team are interested in pushing that flank either, so he's going to see what he can do to assist his teammates from the middle here. A Super Chaffee can kill him. Oh, a 40 TP. You don't want to hang around on this ridgeline once you've been spotted for more than 2 shots. Even with the rate there it is, shots coming in. The second he got spotted on that ridgeline, gun barrels all across the map started swinging around at point at him. Yeah, did you hear that? Artillery as well. No thanks. Going around after the Super Chaffee. It looked like the Super Chaffee was going to get away into cover, but then he, well, turned around and didn't. And by some miracle, he actually managed to hit him on the move. Not something that you can ever really rely on unless you manage to close to, well, this kind of range. Thanks to that bad gun handling, and whoa, look at that lag spike. Cabadoy, is there something you want to tell us about your internet connection? But yes, not something that you should ever rely on in the Cromwell, not thanks to its terrible gun handling and inability to mount the vertical stabiliser, which is what makes the Comet so good at tier 7. You really do have to get in close. Fortunately, you're in the fastest and most manoeuvrable tier 6 medium tank in the whole game. So getting in close isn't a problem. Getting in close and surviving thanks to the flat, thin armour, and wow, those lag spikes. I've got to tell you, when you have lag spikes like that in a tank like this, that doesn't have any armour and relies on its speed and manoeuvrability and the skill of the driver to keep it moving and not hit obstacles, you run into lag spikes like those at a critical moment when you're trying to manoeuvre and avoid rocks in order to keep circling an enemy, you're dead. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Right, you see what he's doing here? This is actually a really good position. If you have somebody down in the valley to spot for you, and he does, although probably not for long, because that Jagdpanzer, if he has any sense, is going to run. But those trees provide concealment. And they're far enough away that you won't get seen if you're shooting through them. The problem now, of course, is that the flat panzer down there, and you can't really blame him, is getting the hell out of dodge. So Cabidoy can't rely on him spotting for him, and he, in fact, is going to have to spot for the flat panzer, and yep, here they come. Takes the shot, backs up, did get spotted. Remember, Sixth Sense doesn't go off instantly. Takes 3 seconds before you get alerted to the fact that you've been spotted. So if you think you might have been spotted, don't hang around waiting. Oh yeah, there it is. He's got good instincts, I'll give him this much. Right, 4 of them left alive against 7 enemies. But because the rest of his team are all backed up into the corner there, he's gonna have to take some chances and get back up here and spot for them. And he gets back up to this ridge and does exactly that, just in the nick of time. Yeah, the Cromwell's never going to hit anything on the move at that range. But here they come. Again, back down off the ridgeline because you know artillery are already pre-aimed on that position. The T-50-2 doesn't want to take another hit, he's waiting for the heavy to move up. And they have nailed one of his teammates. Here's a good thing about the Cromwell, by the way. Gun depression over the front and sides of the tank. It has 0 gun depression over the rear of the tank, but over the front and the sides it is pretty good. Do kind of have to feel a little sorry for the enemy VK3601H there. He saw his teammates falling back, waiting for a heavy to take the lead. He did exactly that, and then they all ran away. Hands up anybody who's ever had that happen to them. Okay, you can all put your hands down now. Still, 3 against 6. He's going to have to spot again, and hope that artillery aren't watching. Oh, hello. Anybody want to shoot him? There we go. Fantastic. Good stuff. Looking slightly better. 3 against 5. Yeah, nobody other than you is in a position to shoot that guy. And it's probably going to take 2 shots, unless you switch to high explosive, which he is doing. And it's still going to take 2 shots, because of course it is. And now get the hell out of there. Oh, he's going to risk it for a biscuit. He's going after the Nassau. I'm surprised that the other artillery hasn't actually shot at him yet. I can't help but feel it's only a matter of time. Is killing the Nassau really worth the risk? No, it isn't. Yeah, I agree. Oh, another Nassau team. You got this? Type 58. When I said you got this, I meant, are you hiding in the bushes at the back, waiting? Yeah. Well, that was fairly predictable. Alright, artillery just fired, the Nassau in the lead has his gun pointing the other way. I think it's time for a pointless and futile gesture. Here he goes. There's one. Has to be real careful coming down the hill, he doesn't wreck himself. And possibly 2 more hits, even with the high explosive loaded. Yeah, it is. Oh, he nearly gets him, which is why you never stop moving when you're in the Cromwell in these kind of circumstances, and that is the Top Gun. And oh, I was just wondering where the hell Cat had gotten to. Got himself into cover behind the wreck of the Type 58 just in time, stops to take the shot while stationary because terrible gun handling, no vertical stabiliser, really couldn't afford to miss that shot, immediately got moving again, dodged the Su-8 shot, and that just leaves the Su-8. How lucky was he that he didn't suffer a lag spike like the ones he had at the beginning of the battle at any point during the course of the last 2 minutes? Because if he had, he probably wouldn't have survived. And the Su-8, well, we haven't seen him, but we've seen where he's shooting from. Don't forget, the Su-8 is the one that finished off Tiger 131 right at the beginning of the battle. So if the Su-8's in the same position, and he probably will be, because he's going to want to see what's coming now that he's the last tank left alive on his team, he's going to be right on top of that ridge, overlooking the enemy base. Yep, there he is. Cabidoy is going to risk a shot on the move, because there's no way he's going to stop and stand still. until the SU-8 has taken the shot and missed. And while the SU-8 is reloading, possibly also trying to suicide, he had plenty of time to stop and make sure that the last 2 shots counted. So that's an ace tanker, Pascucci's medal, Radley Walters for the 8 kills, high caliber and Top Gun for Cabadoy 169 in what, for my money, has to be one of the best tanks in the game. Well, okay, it's not one of the best tanks in the game, but it is one of the most fun tanks in the game, if you can handle the speed, and it also has the added benefit of being tier 6. I mean, tier 6 in the Cromwell can be kind of rush if you end up bottom tier in a tier 8 match. Actually, there's no can be about it. It is very rough if you end up bottom tier in the Cromwell in a tier 8 match. At that point, just strap your scout pants on because you're basically a light tank. Act accordingly. But the good thing about tier 6, and to a lesser degree tier 7, is that there's very little bullshit in World of Tanks at these kind of tiers. Although there are some notable exceptions. Yes, E25, I'm looking at you. But generally speaking, if you're fighting at tier 6 or 7 and you're not horrendously up-tiered, most, if not all, of the tanks that you're going to fight did actually exist, and none of them are stupidly overpowered. With the exception of the usual suspects like the E25. Okay, and some of those Japanese super heavies, but you get the idea. Anyway, Cabadoy, well done. That looked like a fun game to play. Thank you for sharing it. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.